Hey everybody, welcome back. This is probably going to be the last video for this series, and we're just going to get this thing all finished up. If you look down here, I've added a few things since the last time. We can come over here, and I added some dirt and grass, a little bit down in the back side here. And if we come over here, I built a fence. This is in the real thing as well. We can come over here and we can look in the picture, and when you look into the picture, there it is right on the side, and then when you come over to this picture, there it is again, and this is what I ended up with. I don't think it looks too bad. So this part of the series is going to be how I built this fence, because I still have a whole section of it to build, and it'll be built just like this. It's not too difficult. There's nothing tough involved with it. But I did find out some things. My original idea was to put holes in the foam and take these posts that I made. I bought some wood posts, which are right here, and I was just going to poke a hole and drive these in there and use super glue to hold them into the foam. Well, turns out you can't put super glue on the foam. It actually will eat through the foam and nothing will stick. So in doing that, what I ended up doing, this first one was done with super glue, and I had to redo this a couple times. It's pretty solid now. I used caulk and all kinds of stuff in there to hold it into the holes, but the end result is it's good and solid now, and it holds. So what I ended up doing, this back section here, was I drilled the holes the same way. I used a poker that I have. I used this tool here. It's just a punch I got from the hardware store. And I poked a hole in, and I filled the hole with white glue, and then drive the post down in there and let it dry, and that ends up with a pretty solid post here. And then I take these uprights here, these cross members right here, these. And there's another one down here. These are just more strips of the wood from the craft store, which is this stuff here. So that wood is just this right here. And I just glue this afterwards. The poles are in and set, and we set this in the front of it. And then what I didn't do here, and I should have done, was what I should have done with these is I go through with my acrylic paints. I have burnt umber. And that's what I did with this over here, is I painted all the posts and all the crossbars with the burnt umber, and it makes them look a little weathered and worn and like they've been there for a little while. This part here, we're just going to do the section that runs from right over here. It's going to run all the way down along here, and then we're going to do another section that goes from here over to the road here, and that'll be the end of it. Okay, so here's where we're going to start, and this is how we do this. This is how I do it anyway. I don't know how anybody else does it, but this is how I'm going to do it. It makes the most sense to me, and let's see what we can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure this area. I already have a line that I drew down that I'm going to follow, that I want these posts to follow along. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the end here. I'm going to measure from the last post, and then every inch I'm going to put a mark. Okay, so there's all the marks, 1 inch in the spacing. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my poker here, and we're gonna poke the holes on the marks. So I'm going to start with the first one, which is right here. So there's all the holes. Now we're going to take the white glue and we're we're going to take all these posts, line these up here, and some white glue. And we're just going to fill up the holes with the glue. This will end up being all dirt, grass, stuff, and then this side will end up being the tarred area. So we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to mark that off, 1-inch marks. We're going to start from the driveway end, marking the marks. So the first one's and that ends up almost perfectly. Puts in the last post right out toward the edge. And that's it. Now we'll drill out those holes and finish this up. Getting towards this end, the substrate that I have underneath is a little bit tougher and harder. So what I have to do, you also want to make sure that these are twisted straight, so you have the flat facing forward, so that you have a good glue surface to put the other boards across the front of this. So now this one, what I'm going to do is, see, I have to cut off a bunch of it here to match this. I can't get it down any further, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it. You just want to make sure that these are all positioned right before they dry, because obviously, once this is dried, you're not going to be able to move these around at all. And that's looking good just like it is. And I think we'll leave it like that and let that dry up and come back. Maybe I'll come back tomorrow. We'll start with the front of this, and like I said, we're going to use these boards right here, and we'll run these down the front like this, and then another one right along the top here, and that'll super glue on. And then we take this right here, and we're going to glue that right to the front of that whole thing like this, and that's what's going to make the fence that we need to do. And that'll go in like this. I thought I'd go over and just show you what this is all made from. This is made from this. This is corrugated siding I got from the hobby store. Comes in sheets. I don't know if you can see the texture in it, but it's corrugated on both sides. And what I did was I cut pieces off. So the corrugation on this piece runs up and down. So I cut pieces off across here at the height that I want. So those are a 12 scale feet high. So I cut them off, and then what I did was I taped off strips. Okay, I painted the whole thing white, and then I taped off strips, and then I painted the blue sections in there. It took like a couple hours to tape it, and then actually before I painted it, I used a glue. 10X glue, and I glued all those pieces together. You can see the glue joints. There's one right here, another one here. See, these are all pieces that were glued together. And that glue works really good for holding things together like that. And that's how we made these. And that's it. And we'll come back tomorrow and we'll finish that up. And I think we'll also come in here. We can do some scenery into some of this. We can add some foliage and bushes and things. And then this is pretty well done. Some of the other details I added, I don't know if you can see. We added more stuff to the loading dock over here. Added these bumpers. There's a grate that goes right in here, which matches the picture right there. You can see it right in the wall there. The next thing to do now with this is to add some weeds and such into the dock area, because obviously this isn't used as a business anymore. It's their club, and hence the sign on the roof says Sons of Anarchy Motorcycle Club. So they don't use it for tractor trailers anymore. So it's going to be a little bit overgrown. It's not going to be maintained like it should be. So we'll add some of that in there. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so now all our posts have dried up here. These are all dried, nice and solid in the ground here. Now we're going to take this balsa wood here. We're going to measure it out. Glue these strips in here. So all I've got to do now is just mark this off and cut it to the right length. Now we're just going to start gluing this, and I glue it a couple poles at a time because there is a curve to it. So I'm not constantly fighting the curve. I'm using gel super glue. It's just easier for me to use. So the pieces are all in now, so now I'm just going to take some. I have artist acrylic paints that I use. This is raw lumber. And I'm just going to kind of paint up the backs of these just to used. Been around for a little while. Just don't want it to look like fresh wood is all. It doesn't matter how well it's covered, just so long as it's got something on it. Don't worry about getting anything on the ground either, because we're going to ground foam over that, so it really doesn't matter if you get anything anywhere like that. So now we're done with that, and we're just going to let that dry for a little bit, and then we're going to come back and we're going to start gluing on this right here as a finished fence. And then that's pretty much it. And then the only thing left, I've got a gate that I want to put in here. There'll be a sliding gate. And that's it. And then the only other thing I built that I didn't really talk about too much was this. This is in the pictures as well when you look it up online. There's this shelter that they have. And all it is I have, I bought some I-beam plastic right here. And some dowel. Other small bits of styrene, and I just kind of put it together. Not a big deal, very easy to do. And that's pretty much it. Just a little landscaping and basic scenery work, and it's done. Here we go, Sons of Anarchy compound. I also added this. I bought this from Shapeways and painted it. watch the show on the trailer that the sheriff lives in. That's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.